Hey everybody, it's me, it's Paul. Hello, hello. Jenny will be out in just a second. She was just getting some dinner ready for Hayden. And so I'm going to slide over a little bit more into the middle. And I'll sit here for a second. And she asked me to go ahead and start talking to you guys. If you got our email about the live stream tonight, we announced something new that we're working on. It's something we've been working on for close to a year. 6, 7, 8, probably about 8 or 9 months actually. We are starting a new venture called Sea to Sky Gallery. And let me just kind of tell you what it is. It's kind of a vision that we had, maybe actually closer to a year and a half ago. We started talking about it. And essentially what we'd like to do is we'd like to open our own art gallery someday. Probably along the Oregon coast, maybe up the gorge. I don't know where yet. And part of doing that is we need to really show everybody like our artwork. And I get it, palette knives out, Vine Go, things like that. That's our artwork too. But we have different levels of art that we do ourselves. We both kind of tend to paint in oil paints when we paint by ourselves. And so we decided we're going to start building an audience so that when we do open our gallery, it becomes a destination. So like if we open on the Oregon coast and anybody who's going to be in Oregon, come visit us at the gallery, maybe we'll do some workshops and stuff like that. But we really kind of set it up. Our vision is for it to be the next chapter of our art life. And we're really excited about it. And the first phase of it is we are starting a print club. And what the print club is essentially we each create a new painting, not one that we would teach, just something that we would paint for the sake of painting. And then we sell prints every month. So we have a few different options where you can get just Jenny's paintings, you can get just my paintings, or you can get both of our paintings. So that is actually up and available for now. Our first shipment will go out in February. So let me just show you a couple examples. So Jenny's first painting is this Ural owl. Let me see if I can get it centered on the screen. There we go. And this is the actual print. We are printing on archival paper. Can't say it. Archival paper with archival ink. So this is really a high quality print that you could, let me do the old school. You can actually frame this and hang it on the wall. It is a 5x7 print. So you should be, Jenny's coming in. Watch the stairs, darling. So you should be able to find like just regular frames you'll be able to find for these. So Jenny's is the Ural owl. Is that what you're calling it?
It's the Ural owl. Where's the OG painting for tonight?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought maybe you brought it in.
No. There's your microphone. You're just banging around on the desk. That's okay. And then this is my painting. This is called Breaking Fog. And this is most of the work I'm going to be working on, and this is actually going to be a big goal of mine this year, is my work is going to be based on photography that I've done in and around Oregon. This picture was actually taken at Twin Rocks, Oregon, Rockaway. There's like two little coastal towns that flow together, and they're called Twin Rocks. And these are, let me see if I can point right. These are the rocks themselves, and the beach. And the original, actually I have the original. I got the original right here. Hold on. You can see it in the background, hiding behind my guitar. So here's my original. You can see we do these. This one's a 8x10, but most of our originals are going to be painted on 9x12. And you can see, pretty good representation in the print. I can't control that. That's Greta's feedback. Sound and audio are off, and that's lag on Google server and stuff like that. And then we will ship them out in these Jenny picked fancy red envelopes. And yeah, so that's kind of like, we're like, we really want to start working towards our new art gallery someday. And we thought, okay, how are we going to make that happen? And we decided, let's kind of start building our portfolios up a little more. Let's do it so that you guys can, oops, wrong one. You guys can collect them as we go. Monthly price is $8 for one or the other, or $13 for both. So obviously the $13 for both is the better value.
Yeah, it's like a $3 savings.
Yeah, yeah. And so I gave him the whole story about how we want to open a gallery, and that's kind of like how we're starting that process. Game. That's the end game. We'll call it semi-retirement. But anyway, so we're really excited about it. We really have been working. I've been working really hard on the logistical side of it for what, 6 months?
Yeah, I would say about that long.
Yeah, about that long. And yeah. So anyway, that's that.
Yeah. Did you give the website address?
Yeah. Actually, what I'll do is I'll type it into the chat here, and I think I can pin it.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Chris, Marlene. Awesome to see you guys. And then we can zoom in on the painting.
Okay, here we go. There it is. Oh, camera's a little. No, maybe it's not.
It's a little
cockeyed.
Glary.
Oh, let me turn the light down. Just a
Here's my tray.
So the reason we decided to call it. Oh, you need to put your microphone on, girl.
You guys probably couldn't hear anything I was saying.
No, we probably could.
I was very quiet.
The reason we decided to call it Sea to Sky Gallery is we figure, like, okay, I paint the ocean and landscapes, and Jenny likes to paint a lot of birds and animals, and so we're like, hey, we paint everything that's between the sea and the sky. So it's like, let's do it. And we were really happy that, oh, I've got that way too high. Hold on.
Just adjusting the glare on the canvas right now.
That's probably good. So we just decided, let's call it Sea to Sky. And gosh, I don't know, we bought 3 or 4 different domains with the idea of it, and then settled in on it.
All right, so tonight's painting was not originally designed by me. It was restyled by me, but the original painting I don't have anymore, and it was done by one of my beloved artists who used to work for me at the studio, Annalise, and she's so talented, and I think she's still teaching kids art right now. She was my last employee that we kept on for as long as we possibly could through COVID. And I really loved her painting a lot, and I thought, I'm going to restyle it a little bit, because hers had a lot of black in the sky, and I wanted to add a little blue and purple and bring the pink up a little higher. But other than that, it's very, very similar to hers. So we called it Wanderlust years ago. It was probably designed in, I'm going to guess, like 2018 maybe. I taught it up at Skamania Lodge in the Columbia Gorge up in Washington State. And that was an outdoor class with hot weather. You probably remember that one.
I do.
That was pretty fun. Pretty fun, but also very hot.
Just a quick shout out to Sid. Hello, Marlene. Hello, Chris. And hello, June Buggy. Welcome to our Artcast.
Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. I will pull it over off and on to reference, and I'll do some zooming in when needed, zooming out when needed. And color-wise, just the primary colors. I know in the YouTube little write-up I had mentioned Phthalo Red, which I guess we must not have here.
Hi, Jody.
I had said that regular red will work just fine. We're just going to mix some white with it and turn it to be...
Oh, hold on. Stay under control. I looked away from the glass while I was pouring. Okay, sorry, my bad.
So, yeah, we'll go ahead and use these colors.
Cool. And here's your beverage.
Awesome.
Wait,
and
let me give it a quick stir.
Brushes. I just have our 4 little various size brushes. With the largest one, our largest one is 3/4 inch. You could use 1 inch. It doesn't really matter. You could use bigger than 1 inch. But you definitely want a selection of medium and at least 1 small brush. I think we use this mainly on the fire, and then we use the handle for the stars. So with that, let's toast. Cheers to painting. Cheers to Sea to Sky Print Club.
And Icelandic vodka.
Icelandic vodka.
Cheers,
Oh,
everyone.
that's cold. Okay, it's cold out here anyway. So I'm going to take the biggest brush. Mine was already in the water, so it's nice and wet, and I'm just going to dry it off on the paper towel. And we're going to mix 3 colors. We're going to make, it's kind of a dark peach color. So it's this color right here.
Can you hand me a roll of paper towels?
And it doesn't matter if yours is more on the pink side. It doesn't matter if yours is lighter in color. I could have done this painting thousands of different ways, and I just, while I was designing it, I chose to do it that way. So I don't want you to get locked into, mine doesn't exactly match hers. Don't worry about that at all. So first I'm going to make orange. So I'll take yellow and red. A little more yellow than red is probably your safe bet here.
So just so you know,
as I add a whole bunch of red. Woo!
Your blue came out a little bit.
I see that.
And then I added more in the
So
part.
it might be funky.
Might be a little
Didn't you
bit.
shake
first.
it?
I did shake it, but it
Okay.
was very thin. I don't. It was. I don't. Never mind.
So I am going to add just the tiniest bit of white. I feel like the yellow really lightened it a lot, so just a little teeny bit of white. This is kind of what I'm aiming for, is sort of pumpkin orange, at least to start. And I'm going to just start, you know, let's just put on a dotted line. So I know you guys like to have boundaries with how far down do I bring the color, that kind of thing. And I'm just going to brush upward. I'm getting some red streaks in there, which is excellent because we want to have that. We want that multi-tone thing going on. Grab a little more here and kind of spread it out to the sides.
I need to turn my light up a little bit.
Can't see. I'm just kind of doing this upward sweep. I know Paul's not a big fan of this, but I happen to like it.
Hold on, I never said
yes,
any
you
such
did.
thing. Never.
You did.
I've never said that.
Oh,
Now
I'll remind you.
You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm going to clean my brush real quick. It doesn't have to be like a complete, like 100% clean. You can see once I'm drying my brush, some orange is coming out. And I want to make an actual pink with red and white. So this is really close to Phthalo Red, actually. Maybe Blick is just like making people buy Phthalo Red when they really don't have to. They're like, I need red and Phthalo Red. Because when you mix their red with white, their white, it's pretty much the same color.
They're preying on those who are not as tuned in. You guys want to know a secret trick? I just learned this recently. And that is if you buy any paint color that's not like a base paint color, like a particular shade of green or blue or whatever. If you look on the bottle of the tube, it tells you what colors are used to make it.
That's the hack. So you might notice you get a lot of little stop and start marks,
I got
like
a lot.
this right here. And the way I avoid those is I'll have them on there, and then I just, while the paint's wet, just kind of do some long, sweeping, end-to-end brush strokes. And I want to get a little more orange back in there, because you can see on the original I have bits of orange and pink kind of alternating, going all the way up. So you don't even have to wash your brush, just go right for the orange. And if you're like me, you probably didn't make enough paint, and you might need to make a little more.
Are you making paint over there? My goodness, that's amazing.
Everybody has different reds and yellows, so you might get a slightly different shade. Don't want you to worry too much about it. We just want kind of the sun has set sort of color.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like this particular red that we use, I feel is a little bit of a cooler red.
It is. It's more of like a blue based.
Yeah, which there's always a tipping point where it starts to lean into the next
wash
tone.
the brush.
And I kind of I like the.
Good to see you, Jody. Got your message. Glad we were able to chat over the colors. Hopefully you had something similar to what we're doing. Most everybody has the primary colors plus black and white. What I want to do now is I cleaned my brush. Some of you guys probably caught on to that. And because we're going to dissolve into purple, and orange going into purple is not a good combo. It can turn kind of brown. A little brown is okay. You'll actually look out at sunsets as you're driving around and just pay attention. Sometimes you'll see some brown clouds. But I want to make a pretty clean transition to purple, so the best way to do that is to put some pink at the top. And it can be on the darker side, almost, you know, gearing towards red. I'm going to come up a little higher over here. So this is going to help us transition from orange into purple a little bit cleaner. And again, if you got those little brush stroke brush marks, the stop and start marks, go ahead and just sweep right over them with your brush. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. I don't use a lot of paint on my brush throughout most paintings I do. I add little bits at a time because I feel like it's a little bit safer for teaching especially. All right, let's clean that brush off. And now we're going to make kind of a pinkish based purple. So I think the best way to do that is if you've got your pool of pink right there, let's just, I'm going to stir my blue. It's got the gel separation going on there. That's what Paul was talking about. And I need to wash my brush because I got a lot of blue on it from doing that. And I actually need a little more pink. Make close to the same color. It's kind of a bubble gum. I can lean a little more red. And then I'm going to use the corner of my brush, pick up a little blue, a little more, and maybe a little more red. What color am I aiming for? About like this. Great bubble gum. And you can, this is where you want to do the wet on wet technique. Not a lot of paint on the brush. You can see I don't have a huge amount. And I'm just real light touch here, just kind of wisping this in to the pink.
Formal term
more
for wet on wet?
A la prima.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. That's what Bob Ross uses.
It's kind of funny that my one business is called Prima.
That is funny. So you can bring this purplish color down a little bit. Careful around the orange because even right here you can kind of see it got a tiny bit brownish. Not as bad as I thought it was. I think when I have it tilted down here, it really looks like it, but when I tilt it up, it doesn't. And again, long brush strokes. What we're going to do later is we're going to bring more pink up along the edge. So if you have a really hard transition line where it goes suddenly, it's like orange, chunk of red, chunk of purple, and it doesn't feel blended, we'll have the opportunity to blend it. I wish that wasn't so... See that? See how that glares on there? Bump this up. I need a little easel, Paul.
You obsess over the glare so much.
Well, it kind of bothers me because it's kind of tweaking the color a little, I guess. So now I'm going to pull a little more blue and a little more red into my mix. So hey, now we're dark. That's, I don't know. You guys let us know if that's too dark, but we can change it. And let's get this in there.
No, I can't see it all.
Yeah, turn it up and I'll just like put something under it. It's a lot of times these dark sky paintings. So I've got a little more red going into this mix and it's really like a deep violet. And you can sweep that in there. I wouldn't play with it.
Well, you complain about it, and then it makes me feel like I have to fix it. How old do we sound right now?
That's just you. I didn't say anything. Okay, so I'm just going to do these nice long end-to-end brush strokes, sweeping this in here. And that looks pretty nice. It helps that I've done this painting a couple times. One thing I could do, let me pull the original in here. Yeah, we did bring a little black in the top. Thought it was darker. Cool. And I remember I put some of this blue in later. So
I will get you something to prop. I have something.
honestly, I think just a little piece of wood.
Yeah, that's what I've got one.
That's about the thickness of a, I don't know, a couple inches, whatever. Let's go ahead now and wash the brush. I guess we didn't really have to because we're going to be adding a little black to this color here. And you could even add a little blue. And I would use very little. Like, look at my brush. There's very little paint. If I turn it to the side, there's no glob. There's a knot on my canvas. And I'm just going to come in from this top corner. And think about this as like a vignette. We're adding just a dark edging here. Sort of frames everything in. Add a little more. You may find that you have to your paint on your canvas is kind of thick and a little bit too wet, and this isn't sticking. Don't worry about that. We can always add it later. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, that helped a little, I think. I guess it's not a huge difference, but
Nope, I still see the glare.
luckily, we don't spend a huge amount of time. We got some autofocus. We don't spend a huge amount of time on this upper part right now.
You can either complain about the glare or the autofocus. You can't complain about both.
I can complain about whatever I want.
Just makes us look. I'm just joking.
Spot here. Little spot here where I got some blue coming in on the side. You might have that. We're gonna fix it. I don't know if I'm gonna fix it right this second. I might let it dry a little bit. Let's see. I'll attempt it. My palette's already getting pretty filled up. There. So I just brought in a tiny bit of pink and it just basically dragged it to lavender. And kind of smoothed it out a little bit, enough that I can come back in later with more of the pinky orange peach. But for now, I'm going to leave the sky alone. We're going to talk about the foreground. So these trees are a dark blue and black color. So I mixed blue and black, and then down in here, I wanted it to look like a little bit of mist at the edge of the woods. So it gives it kind of a cooler out, like a summer night that's kind of cooler out. This is very Oregonian or Pacific Northwestern. It could be Canada, but it's with those fir trees and setting just kind of reminds me of my beloved home state. So let's mix up a nice color. It's actually, the trees are done in a color very similar to right up here. So you might make well, let's just mix blue and black. That's, looking at it, I know that's what I did. You could add a little purple in there by adding some red if you want. It's not gonna change anything so dramatically that it would be wrong or look off even at all. In fact, it took me a second to determine what colors I use. Usually I will take progress pics when I design a painting, but I wasn't 100% sure I was going to put this one on the schedule when I designed it. I designed it while Paul was teaching a live class, and I just had the colors he had. I knew I had wanted to remake this painting for a while, and I had an audience behind me. I was sitting with my back to a window, and the window faced out to a hall, and there was a big, huge awards ceremony event going on in the art center, and people were going by, and they would just stand there and watch, and I was the only one with my back to the window. So I was the only one whose canvas they could see other than Paul way at the front of the classroom, and it was a little slightly intimidating. So now what I want to do is I want to turn my brush using the vertical edge, and we've done this before where we kind of create this sound wave sort of pattern. If your orange isn't dry and you're getting a funky color, I would add a little red to this, and that will kind of help. Actually, I like it with being a little more purple, so I'm going to do that. Because I'm getting a little bit of a brownish shade, which is fine. But my preference is to have it be more on the purplish side. So just wiggling the brush up and down. The nice straight brushes like this, you can get what looks like a grassy knoll or a sound wave. And then every once in a while, I'll just flick upwards so I get some thinner grassy points. These are not grass, they're going to become our trees. And just go ahead and bring it down about like there, just below your orange line. And I like to kind of develop my own little hillside to make more color here. So I will, you know, come down a little bit, and then maybe I'll bump up right here. We're going to reshape some of the tops of these trees with a smaller brush. But I think about this as like little stands of trees. Maybe it's going to start climbing up here again. So we've got this nice little tucked in area for the tent. I had to change, I went and took a picture of this to post for you guys. And I looked at the photo. It's funny how like sometimes you'll notice things differently on a photo than you would on just looking at it in person. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit so I have wet paint down in here. And anyway, I went and looked at it, and I was like, that tent looks like it's sitting, and the fire looks like it's sitting in water because of the amount of reflections I had added. It almost looked like a perfect reflection, like it was just floating on water. It's pretty funny. I'm going to clean my brush. I want to get all the black out of it, or most of the black if possible. And this I'm going to work kind of quickly on because I don't want this to dry. It probably will dry a little bit anyway. I'm going to take blue and just the tiniest little nudge of white. And you'll know right away if you need more. Yes, I need more. Maybe a medium nudge of white. And I'm going to paint over, just back and forth, over the bottom edge of this. And this is how you create that sort of mist. And it doesn't have to sit perfectly flat. You could have some areas where it goes up a little higher, like over here. Just blend it in. Wipe off your brush if needed to blend out the top of this. You could even clean and dry your brush if that's helpful. And this is something you can just keep repeating until you get the level of mist that you like. Do you remember this painting, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, I figured you might.
We did a date night version of it too.
Maybe. I was wondering if we should do some kind of date night painting for, although actually the space that we teach in is not going to be available because of a kingly air. We have a Shakespeare play going on. And that's part of the reason why we are streaming a little later in the month, because this is the time of year that we do our big winter Shakespeare show, and Paul has been busy doing tech there, getting their theater and lighting, sound and lighting all done. In
fact, I'm going in there tonight.
Are you really?
There's not enough time.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I'm not really supporting the organization.
That was a sarcastic comment.
Yeah. I work too hard at it for no pay.
Yeah, sometimes we have to sit back and go, what are we doing?
I don't mind the no pay as long as people appreciate the work that's going on.
Yes, that is it. Totally. And most do. we've got a great board. I love our board. Okay, so now let's get some dark color down in here, and it just kind of transitions down to black and blue mixed together. So you can see where it transitions right here. And that's another thing where it's good to do while the paint is wet. So I'll take some of this color I used with my trees, and I can tell, yes, I need a little more black in that, maybe a little more blue. And just wet on wet, overlap the color, go straight back and forth. Nice horizontal brush strokes. This whole front area is going to be pretty dark. And that's what's going to help give it that nice little cozy vibe or spooky. I've never been a big fan of wilderness camping because I'm a little spooked out by being in the woods with, you know, not a lot of people around.
I've slept just under a tarp in the woods before.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I didn't like it either.
Who was with you?
It was back in high school when I was with my girlfriend's family.
Oh, is that the time that you got pooped on by the big bird?
No, that was a different trip. That was a osprey.
Yes, an osprey.
And it hit our
Oh, no, you didn't get pooped on.
No, I did.
I thought you didn't.
We all did.
Okay.
In fact, I got it in the face.
Wow. That's got to be good luck, right?
I don't think so. That relationship didn't last, so apparently it was, well, no, that was good luck. That was good luck.
Hey, you guys are still friends.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, you better watch yourself.
You better watch.
That was good luck.
Her mom just started following me on Instagram. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to now bring some more fog back in there because see how it's kind of narrowed down to a little strip. That probably would be fine, but my artist brain wants to have a little more. I'm a big fan of the fog. I saw Mandy went up to like Crown Point, I think.
Huh.
Did you see her? She called it something different though.
Did she call it Thor's Heights?
Maybe? Is that
that's the old.
Yeah, I think she did.
It's the old Norwegian name for it.
Okay, because I was like, I swear that's Crown Point. And she called it something different. Crown Point is this spot in the Columbia Gorge. It's on the Oregon side, and it's let's see, is it east of Multnomah Falls or west of Multnomah Falls? Okay, so it's before Multnomah Falls if you're coming from Portland. And it's so windy up there. I cannot believe how windy it is up there. But absolutely gorgeous 360 views. Well, not really 360.
We'll call it 270.
270, yeah. Okay. How many of you guys are painting with us? I'm curious. I know, Marlene, you usually do. Sid, you usually do as well. It's probably a little harder to do that because thinking about our live classes that we teach, I do a lot of pausing just to let people catch up. Obviously, I can't see where you guys are at. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'm moving on. Pause if needed. But this is really pretty right now as it is. We're going to make it even prettier. We got the whole canvas covered within, what, a half hour? I don't know what time it is. That's pretty good.
We have been, 34 minutes. Well, so less than a half hour because I talked for close to 10 minutes before we actually got started.
Yeah. So my, let's chat with you guys for a second while we're waiting for some of these trees to dry. My goal with this year's print club is I'm going to do, I think I may have mentioned it, I'm going to do a year of owls because there's so many different varieties and I want to paint them all. And I've got favorites. The Ural owl and the barred owl are my two favorites. So I started with the Ural owl, and it's funny because those two look almost identical. They're very, like, they're very, very similar. And I'm just excited I'm going to send out a little info sheet with each painting that talks about the owl, where it's from, any other information I can glean. And I'm pretty excited. I love painting owls, and I think that's just going to be my thing for a year.
What are you going to do for year 2?
Probably different kinds of birds. Like
3 and 4?
Because there are other birds I really like painting too. Like I like painting, obviously, ravens and crows, but also like western meadowlark, chickadees. They're just so, finches, they're just so adorable. Marlene, you always get it started. That's good. Paintings you can always go back to at any point in life. In fact, I've got one hanging in my laundry room that I started in, let's see, it must have been 2001 or 2002. And
would be good.
I hung it in the laundry room just because it's kind of big, and I was like, I don't really want to hang this in the main house because it's not done. It's got some finishing up to do. So I was thinking, would it be weird if I went back to it? I don't even remember if it was oils or acrylics. So, yeah, they can always be gone back to. All right. So I think what I want to do now, there's just a couple different things. It doesn't really matter. I'm just deciding which one I want to do first. I might bring some more of the orangey and pink up into the sky. So you'll see this one, and then look at this one. You can see there's streaks, there's little bits of dark blue up in here. So they're similar, but this one just has a bit extra. A little more of the darker pink in there, some darker orange. And I also kind of brought some pink up into this area too, just so it's not so, sort of, we got both. What I was thinking is the last little bit of sunlight that's down here is going to kind of kiss the edge of some, whatever little wispy thin clouds might be up there. And I think I'm going to clean my brush pretty good. My water is that color. This could be a time to change your water if you want. But I'm just going to dry my brush really good and get most of the bluish pigment out of it. And we'll do white, red. I think I'll make it a little bit darker. A little more on the red side. So instead of bubblegum pink, it's closer to raspberry smoothie pink. And anytime you mix paint, you get a lot on your brush. Nice big globs. We don't want to come in here with our background already painted and add big globs, at least not with this painting. So what I'll do is just wipe my brush off. You could wipe it off on your palette or on your paper towel. And I'm just going to use the thin edge of it and create little choppy lines going in the same direction. And you see how that kind of brings that little bit of pink right up in there? You can add some bits down in here, and I do feel like I could add more red to this color. Do that in a minute. Up in this area is a really nice spot to have just a little paint on your brush. And you can almost create these real hazy clouds. Always using the thin edge of your brush for this part. That's pretty. Let's see what it looks like if I add a little more red. I may or may not like it. I'll be the guinea pig here. If you do this, I would use even less paint. So I'm going to tilt it a little bit. You can see it's pretty vivid and vibrant. But everything like this can be softened pretty easily by just painting a softer, lighter color over the top. So yeah, that's a lot. I kind of like the look of it, but it's not as blended as I normally would prefer. So now to blend it out, I might make this peachy color. That's a good color to just pull up in there a bit too. That was yellow and red with a wee bit of white. And actually, let me try just yellow and red. Again, I want to wipe my brush off. I like sort of playing around with the different colors in the sky. And because all of this upper dark part is dry, it's not going to mix with wet blue paint and make it funky. But just bits of the color, little dashes, little swoops. Now if I wanted to blend some of this out, because you can see I have a lot of really equal slashes, so it almost looks like something scratched on my canvas. If I wanted to soften that up a bit, I might add just a tiny bit more white. A little tiny bit more yellow, just to make a lighter peach. And very little paint on the brush. Sort of swoop it in there. And you just decide, are you more of an orange sky person? Or are you more of a peach sky person? More of a purple or pink? I'm a big fan of some lighter pink in here once in a while. Very nice. This area here that I got some funk going on is nice and blended out now. And you could, with a dark, because this is so dark way up here, if you guys are one of the lucky ones and have straight phthalo red, you can use that. But for those of us who just are using red, we're going to make raspberry smoothie. So it's more red than light pink. And dab your brush off. You can see very little paint on there. And I'm going to tilt this so you can see, you can bring little bits of that reddish color up in here. Because it's a dark color going on top of another dark color, it's usually not going to overwhelm anything. But it does break up the sky nicely. Kind of cosmic. Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. I swear I've seen a sky just like that before. If you want to make a little Bigfoot over here, a little Sasquatch poking out through the, you just do is like his torso, head, and shoulders poking out of the fog. That would be funny. But let's go ahead now and start painting in some trees. So this original area here looked just like that until I came in with my tiny brush and picked out a few trees to actually give branches and boughs to. And I used the same color, that dark, whatever you had there. It was blue and black mostly. I think I did end up mixing a little red with it, but as it's dried, it just looks like blue and black. And I think that's partly because it was going over orange, so the purplish color just sort of got canceled out. Look at my paper towel. I'm really bad about ending my classes with very wet paper towels. Okay. I'm just using my big brush to mix the color, and I'll do blue and black. You definitely want, when you mix it up, you want to be able to see some blue in it. It is very black, but it's actually kind of like indigo. And I know I'm going to run out because I never mix enough. Okay, I'm going to set this in the water and pick up whatever smallest brush you have. This one is a number 2 round if you're using this Princeton set. But whatever you've got that's small, and like a good small round brush is great for this. So dip it in the water, maybe mix a little water with some of your paint. Kind of swipe that in there without pushing down too hard on your brush. These little bristles, we want to keep them nice and tidy. And you can pull and twist your brush to knock off excess paint pigment, and now look, I made like a really cool design. I need Daniel here to tell me.
Where?
Northern Flickers. Is that a bird? Northern Flicker? I'll have to look it up. Okay, so then redip the tip of the bristles and pick out, like this is a nice good one I could use, and I could just kind of extend it up a little bit and then create, just by dabbing, kind of zigzagging across, you create some tree branches. And I can see I probably need a little more blue mixed in my paint. As this dries, it'll probably blend in a little bit better. It's always hard to get the exact color, especially because I knew I had a little red mixed in there. I guess that would help. And then, like, maybe I'd pick out this one, just extend it up a little bit. Keep these kind of narrow. It's real easy to accidentally get too wide, too fast, too soon. And then suddenly you got this gigantic tree that doesn't quite fit in right. And sometimes you don't even have to draw the tree trunk. Like, I've got a nice one right here. I could just... The only reason I drew tree trunks on these ones is I wanted to extend them up a little bit. And if your color that you're using is a little darker than the woods behind it, just keep going and just sort of blend it out and let your brush run out of paint. And you can have them overlap. Like, here's a good spot to do a little itty bitty one that's tucked in there. I've got some funky little, where my brush was maybe a little frayed right there, so that's a good spot for one. Your canvas will just tell you. Oh, you messed up here. Well, let's put a tree over it. A happy little tree. I like, this one is talking to me a little. It wants to be a more detailed tree. And I've got this kind of squared off area right here. That might be a good spot to have one that kind of eliminate that squared off area. They're so tiny that just imagine you're painting a little tiny teacup. So little itty bitty brush strokes with not a lot of pressure and not a lot of paint. In fact, I can zoom in. I keep forgetting I have that feature. And already I think I'm doing a little bit more than what's on my original. But these are great practice. And keep in mind, you could do some really tiny, narrow ones that barely even look like trees, like this one I just did here. It's just tucked back in there. Right here, there's one. You could even do shrubs, like let's round this out and have it be just a big shrub, or maybe it's a deciduous tree. Make a Sasquatch standing way up here, the king of the mountain. You know, this kind of reminds me of Rock Creek a little bit, like the area across Rock Creek. It's got that big hill with all the trees. Of course, that could be all kinds of places in Oregon. I saw a video, for those of you who are Oregonians, it's a video I saw on Instagram, I think. I showed you that people walking across Trillium Lake, it was frozen solid.
Oh, yeah. You did send that to me.
That would have been a cool experience. I would have been a little nervous, but you know, if you fall in, you fall in. I'm just kidding. That would be terrible.
Freeze around and thaw out.
Go light a fire quickly. But how fun. There's some kind of loop you can do. All right, let's zoom out and see how it looks. Yeah. It's looking. It's looking good. The tent is a really easy shape to draw. It's just a triangle that's kind of more three-dimensional, and I'll show you all about how to do that. The one thing that I had a little trouble with that is I could not decide what color I wanted to make it. So I think I made it kind of a grayish green, just thinking like, you know, I always had the ugly grayish green tents growing up. We never had anything pretty. I think my growing up, my parents, I think we only ever like got our tents at like garage sales. I remember we had one that was canvas.
The just tents were ugly back then.
Yeah, we had one that was canvas and it was huge, and my parents just called it the big top. It slept like 12 people.
We had one of those. It was like,
and it always stunk because you can't store it without it getting moldy, especially if you've gone camping and there's dew or it's rained, and so it's, you know, you go to fold it up. It's not like you can hang it on a clothesline.
I think ours was kind of all tan.
Yeah, ours was tan. We probably had the same one. Okay, so let's, I'm just thinking here, there's different ways we could go. I think actually drawing the tent on right now would be good because there's parts of it we need to dry before we go back and add more good stuff. And as crazy as it sounds, we paint the opening of the tent in white. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to create that kind of greenish gray color, which is just black, white, and yellow. Or just black and yellow probably would work. And I did end up going back in and kind of darkening, so mine ended up looking a little too bright. And then I added some warm glow because I knew that you'd be able to see whatever lantern or whatever's in the tent would shine through here most likely.
Should we paint the Austin Powers scene?
Sure. You go right ahead, Paul. So let's try out, if you're using the craft yellow that we use sometimes because of how opaque it is, that's a good one to mix with black to create kind of a greenish gray. So we'll just pop some black down, probably twice as much yellow. Oh yeah, that's looking like the good old tent color. You can do a pink tent if you want. You guys can do whatever you want. The reason I chose this color is because I wanted something that was dark, but also stood out. I could add, let's see what happens if I add a little red in there. I think I already tried that when I was painting it in class the other night. That's okay. It's not quite the right color, so I'll probably go back. It just made kind of a brown. That would be a good color for the wood on the fireplace. Or not the fireplace, the
Army
campfire.
drab.
Army drab is what we're making. If you have a good yellow, you'll get this with just black and yellow. I don't mean like a good yellow, you mean one that's more opaque. If you need to, you can add a little white to your yellow and get your army drab color. But try just a little at a time because the white will kind of just take over. All right, littlest brush. And how big is this thing? This is probably about 2 inches from here to here. And then it's just you get this kind of isosceles triangle. If you want to paint a different type of tent, please feel free to do that. And I think I'm just going to put the top little dab right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. And I'm just going to go, you know what? Let me sketch mine out in a lighter color because I know it's going to be really hard for you to see. I just do this sort of droopy witch hat triangle. And again, I sketched mine in a lighter color. I just dipped my brush right in yellow so that you guys can see it. Because if I did that drab green, it wasn't really showing up. And then you can go straight back, or you can angle it a little bit, but kind of just, if you angle it, maybe angle it downward. Straight back like this. I did go down at a little bit of an angle. And then this, what you put on here, needs to match this as close as possible. So it's going to kind of droop out like that. And then this line across here can go straight across, or it can angle down. So it's almost like in perspective. This is going to go straight across here. And we've got tent flaps we'll put on and all of that good stuff. But for now, this is a good shape and size. It's probably, oops, probably about 2 inches tall. And then this little opening, maybe 1.5 inches or so. Yours might be a little bigger than mine. I think my new one is just a tiny bit smaller than the OG one. And we can use a little bit bigger brush. I'll just use my number 4. You could use number 8. And we'll just fill that in with whatever tint color you mixed up. And we will highlight and shade it. It's just going to be kind of ugly at first. I put some orange tint flaps on later. But wash your brush, whatever brush you want to use next, number 4, number 8, whatever feels the best to you. We're going to paint this opening. I know it seems crazy, but just a thin coat of white, because that's going to give us that nice yellow brightness when we go to paint the light color later. And it's okay if it mixes with a little of the greenish. You just need a thin coat. You don't need like a super thick, opaque coat. It's okay if you see through it a little bit. Looks really funny right now. It's cold out here, Paul.
Feels normal to me. It actually feels warmer than the warehouse.
Is anybody over there at the stars? Probably Coleman.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go in tonight. There's so much to do, though.
Wee. Okay.
Especially when we're getting guilt-tripped about it.
Don't worry about that. We have a director who's just kind of at the panic about everything mode. That's
normal.
Pretty typical. Okay, so now I'm just thinking if I want to do the little campfire. I don't think I want to do the campfire yet. I'm just looking at my steps. We're looking at the original. Let's do stars. We can let this dry. There are the stars. I did sort of a funky thing in the middle with a whole bunch of stars. So in the very original that Annalise made, I loved it because we did where we flick the brush with really wet white paint. And I can't teach a live painting like that because it's way too messy and we're teaching in other people's facilities. So I don't usually do that anymore, which we used to do it all the time in our studio, which explains why we had so much paint all over the floor. So I am going to use the handle of the little brush, dip it in the white, and just stamp little dots everywhere. Keep the concentration of your stars up in the dark part, because down in here you might just get the first little bit of peekaboo stars that are just becoming visible because of the light. But way up here where it's dark, those stars are going to be visible. We might start up there. Start. I feel like stars are, I don't know, they just kind of give the painting a really nice, cozy feel. And the key here is most people evenly space them. Like you'll look at their painting and they have polka dots like that. What you want to do is force yourself to cluster them together so that you're not making a pattern. And you'll notice once in a while I'll dip the brush in the paint and then I tap it off on the palette. That's so I don't end up with a supernova right off the chute. Where has Daniel been?
I don't know.
Work? Maybe
he
you didn't
just-
know.
Maybe he didn't know. I forgot to tell him. And there's a Blazer game on, so he's probably watching the Blazer game.
Oh.
Must have lost. Just got a text from Daniel. Effing Blazers.
Oops.
Oh, they did.
We were at McMiniman's restaurant the other night, and we watched the Seahawks win their championship game. Sends them to the Super Bowl. It's been, what, a decade, you said?
10 years.
Good for Seattle. They're like, I guess they're the team we have to root for because they're the closest to us.
Some people feel
Until
that way.
Portland one day has.
It'll never happen.
So Eden loves the Spurs, right?
Mhm.
And then we know Marlene's a Dolphins fan.
Yep. I don't have a football team.
I was really surprised at how much Hayden knows about football.
He watches it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when he goes over to my parents' house, that's all they do is watch sports the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I made him laugh because I said, you could have played football in high school.
I couldn't even imagine.
He's a little guy. He could be like what's the one that,
The water
the
boy?
kicker or what?
Oh.
The one who's like small.
Yeah,
It has
the
to be
kicker.
small and fast, yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be fast.
Oh, I thought they did.
Not kickers.
Okay, quarterbacks have to be fast.
Yeah, but they don't have to. Small's not good there.
Yeah. Okay, so have a look. This is how we have it right now. If you like the look of the little cluster of stars, I was just kind of going for like a Milky Way sort of vibe. You can do that, and what I did, you don't have to though. What I did is I just kind of started down here and clustered a whole bunch together in a little grouping that just gradually gets wider and wider as it goes, you carry it up into the sky. Totally unnecessary. This is easy but tedious work. I think the best place that I've ever seen stars in person was June Lake.
Yeah, that was pretty
We drove out to wherever that. This is a high elevation there. I don't remember what the elevation was. June Lake is in
9,000
California. It's in California. It's like, I don't know, an hour and a half drive to Yosemite.
good. Call it the backside of Yosemite.
Backside of Yosemite. And we drove out to a really dark area one night and pulled over where you could see all the stars. It was so amazing. And I don't know if there was a moon out that night. I don't think there was because it was just so
It wasn't as
glittering
dark.
with stars.
I remember Rock Creek being darker when I was a kid.
Huh. June Lake was a neat little town. Cute name too. But actually, it's not far from Mammoth Lakes.
Yeah, it was. Mammoth is like, I think, 40 miles south.
Our furnace sounds kind of scary. It's got like the boiler.
I'm not scared anymore. You hear that?
I'm not scared anymore. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the. Why is this cut off over there?
Where? Oh, that's like a. They do it now in both.
No, the top is cut off there. Is that? But on here it's not. Okay, there we go. Cool. I just
So
wanted to
they
make
do
sure.
it simulcast on Reels now.
Interesting. Okay.
So-
Get more views that way, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm going to do a couple fuzzy stars. This one has a twinkle, this one does not. These are 100% optional. If you feel like that might be a challenge for you when you've already got your sky just about done, leave them off. If you are up for a challenge, what you want to do is stamp your brush in the white, pick up a dot, and then maybe dab it once on your palette. Pick a spot, and then just swirl that into a little glowing orb. I can tell already I needed to not dab my brush off on the palette, just go right for the white. And the more white paint you use, the more, the larger it's going to be. And then I just put a little star dot right in the middle. So you've got this sort of misty glowy thing. And then I've got, the other one is kind of over here. That's a little bit bigger. Sparkly glowy. Sparkly glowy. And you can redo it. Like if I felt like, you know, that needs to be more. More.
Wow.
Then I'll do
Two
that.
Star Wars references in like 30 seconds.
And then I'll put the dot in the middle. And then you need to use the brush end, not the handle end. And you can just pick up the tiniest little nick of white. Let me zoom in. This is kind of fun to do, but you want to work from the center out. So you start right in the center of the star, and you flick up and down, and then flick out to the side. It's just a quick flick, so you get a nice pointy edge. Might need to redip your brush. I could leave it like that, or I could go extra, which I love to do, and go out, 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 always working from the center out. And then I'm going to redot the center because it gets kind of messed up. There you go. You can do one of those, two of those, many of those. It's your painting. You can do whatever you want. Drying up nice. Our little boring tent. Look at that. It's so funny looking. We are going to change that up. So I'll probably use my number 8 brush. So your number 8 or your number 4, whatever you got that's about a 1/4 inch wide or 1/8 inch wide. And you can use plain old right out of the tube yellow, or if that is too transparent, you can mix a tiny bit of white with it. But because we're going over the white, it's looking pretty good. And I don't want it to be pure, just cheddar cheese yellow. I actually want to warm it up a little bit. You can see it on the original. See how I've got the little streaks of orange in there? And it's not like super smoothed out. It's kind of, everything's sort of dabbed on. We'll do that in a minute, but go ahead and take your brush and maybe wipe off a lot of the yellow. Let me zoom in. And your light can be, you can streak this down, kind of following the curve of the tent there. Add a little bit more. So we don't want to completely obliterate the green, but we want it to look like there is some light shining through the edge of the tent. And you can layer this. It doesn't have to be like, here I'll do a bright streak right through here, so it doesn't have to be like all solid, all one tone and brightness. You can have some little broken up streaks. You leave it pretty dark back here, but you can bring that some of that yellow back in there because we're gonna shade it. And I want to make sure all of my white is covered up. And now I want to make orange. So this is going to be a nice warm orange. It's a yellow orange, so you're going to have more yellow and just a tiny bit of red. That red really overpowered it really quick. Got some greenishness coming in there. Trying to make its appearance. So basically kind of a yellowy orange, maybe close to pumpkin. And I have a lot of paint on my brush. Look at that from mixing, and I don't want to go right for this tiny little area and just have a whole bunch of paint. So I'm going to wipe it on my paper towel and then just sort of dab. Well, now I wiped all of it up. You can dab little splotches of this color in there. And this might be something I layer some more on after it dries a bit, because it's not sticking super great. Yellow's still maybe a little bit too wet. I feel like it actually could be a little more red. Let's see what that looks like. It's a bloodbath. Too much red. Ah!
Sasquatch got it.
Sasquatch got it. Okay, so now I can put a little orange on here too. But you know what? This is too wet. It's not doing anything. So I'm just going to leave it alone for now. And we'll get some nice glow on the ground. There's a lady I follow on TikTok that lives in one of those fire lookouts.
Oh.
She has she's older, probably say early 60s maybe.
Careful.
I know, I'm just guessing. Like, when I say older, I mean
older than
it's
us.
not what you'd expect. Like, I'd expect a younger person to like be that adventurous. And not saying that's terrible. Not saying that older people can't be adventurous. It just seems like to go stay off on your own like that, I don't know, it's gutsy. Gutsy as a woman, and anyway.
Yep, Sid just said her age.
So she lives up there, and I can't remember if it's in the PNW or Canada. For some reason, I think it's like Montana. And it's kind of cool. She's like got major solitude, and it's there's no running water, no heat. She has to, bring stuff up there. No electricity. She does, if I remember right, she does somehow have some like party lights in there. Probably like a
solar power
generator or something. I don't know.
Probably solar power.
Bathroom is a bucket. But and then she's had some people like it's way out in the wilderness, and she's had someone like drive up in the middle of the night. That would be a little terrifying.
I've had that happen.
Yes. That would be a little terrifying.
When I was camping with all the guys, this car kept pulling into our campsite in the middle of the night, and like to the point where
you guys were getting weirded
we started
out.
unzipping our tent with guns in hands.
You don't have a gun.
I didn't. I was like, I had my pocket knife, and I was like, "You guys take the lead.
I'll hide in the tent.
I got your back."
Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, just a tiny bit, maybe swipe your brush off, and come right under the tent and just wiggle it back and forth. You don't want too much here, because you remember what I was telling you earlier, it ended up looking like I had water on the ground. So just some kind of glow, and you can bring this out here. And this is something you can go back in and soften it up with a little black and blue mixed together if it's too much. Our campfire is going to be right in here, so it is going to cast a nice circle of light. And yes, your tent will definitely cast a glow on the ground. I'm going to see now how orange back in here if it's dried enough. You can always go back in with some more yellow too and just dab it on top. Goldenrod, that's what we're aiming for.
So yeah, there was 2 new seasons of Alone that I hadn't seen
Oh
yet.
yeah.
And they're in Tasmania.
Kind of likes that show. We should
They're
watch
in
it.
Tasmania
That's wild. You said like 3 people topped out in the first day.
in the first 2 days.
Scary. It's all those big spiders.
No, it was like, so they're from Australia, most of them, right? And it rained all night the first 2 nights. And they're like, F this, I'm out. F this, I'm out. And one had like...
There's a lot of, Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's, I mean, a lot of people do that alone thing. It's impressive. I don't know if I would last. Add a little more yellow.
The one lady,
Try out a
like,
little more yellow here.
she had one of those Tasmanian devils, like, near her camp at night, the first night, and it was doing its noise.
Yeah. It was the Looney Tunes one. Add a little more orange back in here.
No, we should watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
You gotta like it. There was like one of the ladies, there's a lady on there I like, she's like 52.
Nice. Okay, so I've got some of this army green I made earlier. And to shade the back side of the tent, I could just leave it as it is. It is shaded already, but if you look at the original one, I did shade a little black in there, and I don't even know if it's 100% necessary. I'm gonna try it out. It might just make it disappear too much. So I'll just add a tiny bit of black in here. And just trace along the edge and maybe just shade forward. I need less paint on the brush. The back of the tent is dark. It's probably not accurate. The whole thing would probably be pretty light.
Okay,
but
so
this gives it some three-dimensional look.
I gotta ask my sister. My sister's on here. Sid.
Shout out to Sid.
Do you remember when we went camping at South Twin and I was like 3 and I wandered off in the middle of the night?
Is that the one where like the whole campsite was looking for you?
Yeah.
That was like a that lake.
Yeah, South Twin.
That's the name of it? I thought it had a name that started with a W. Can you tell me that?
No, that was near Wickiup.
Wickiup, yeah.
But it was, we were at South Twin.
Wickiup. That sounds like something you would do.
And the funny thing is like...
Oh boy, I'm out of Coke. That's very strong.
I can go get some more. Hold on.
Did you bring the whole box in?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to, yeah, that's really strong.
So what I remember, like, I remember what happened was I had seen a trailer in the campground that reminded me of my grandmother's trailer, and I went trying to find my grandmother.
Grandma! Was your grandma even with you guys?
No. I was like 3.
Okay. So you can add some little tent stakes if you want, and I think I did not on the original, but I think the original by Annalise has some, and you can use black and just kind of do a little X thing like that if you want. Like obviously it doesn't add anything that's super grandiose.
Sid, you don't remember. I remember Sid saved my life once at the fireworks display in Lake Oswego, though.
Wow. That's a good sister.
Well, yeah, because that was the whole fireworks barge went off.
Yeah.
And I remember Sid grabbed me and threw me over her shoulder and took off running.
Okay, one thing I'm going to do before my army green color dries, I've got this little patch where I mixed a little black in. I'm going to mix some more green in there because I don't want it too dark. Maybe just a shade darker than that and a shade or two. And then you just are going to outline the front edge here just to kind of clean that up. It's just a little loose outline. It doesn't have to be like pristine or anything. We'll add some nice orange tent flaps. They can be any color, really, if you want. But right now, I think let's scoot over and build our little bonfire. We don't want it too close to the tent because we don't want it to, like, catch the tent on fire.
This tent is on fire!
So it's probably, like, a couple inches away and drop down a little bit. And I start with just orange. So you mix red and yellow unless you have straight out of the bottle orange. Oops, I've got, oh my gosh, I've got murky colors coming out of my brush. So I made kind of a yellow-orange over here. And probably right about here, campfires can be kind of a challenge to paint, but what you want to do is so we're going to do kind of like a scooped bottom, like we're building a little planter or something like that. And then we want it to go up to a point, so you can make a straight line right up through the middle. And all of my brush strokes are little flicks because we want the fire to look like it's, what term I would use here? It's just, you know, it's kind of taller in the middle, broken up, but also kind of soft.
You're making no sense.
And you can add, like, I just dipped my brush right in yellow. But we want that kind of point right in the middle. About like that. And then I would take a little red, stir it in here. And the red would be, you just kind of build it on the outside flame so that you have some different colors going on here. And it's not really sticking for me. I think I need to let it dry a little bit. But I did get just enough orange in there. I feel like that's perfect. And then when that dries, we're going to do like a white hot center. And for now, though, we're just going to leave it. It's kind of like a, sort of almost like a teardrop shape. Actually reminds me a lot of the tree from Van Gogh's Starry Night painting. It's a lot like that.
It does. I can see that.
And let's use black, or you can soften it up by mixing black with your orange like this, and get a little more closer to brown, but that's pretty dark anyway. And I just do like a little X. Let me zoom in just a bit. So a little flat X. There's one side and the other. That's our firewood. All we need. Burning down
the house.
Burning down the house. Oh, the auto zoom's like going. It's like really kind of crazy.
It's you know,
what
when
in the world? Why is it doing that?
When there's less light, it's harder for it.
Okay. Okay, so then we can add some sparks. You see those? Now those, I do not use the handle of the brush. I use the very tippy tip top of these pointy little bristles, because you can get a real tiny dot. And so yeah, here's how much paint I have. Not much at all. And like, just do a little trail of sparks just by barely dabbing your brush down. And you can, like, I make the longest trail kind of coming out of the top. Not like that. And then your campfire wood color is a great color to use. That was this one right here. To make your single little tint bowl right down the middle. Don't worry too much if it's not perfectly straight, because unless you use a ruler, it's going to be a little crooked. Teeny little tint. If you want to, I didn't do this on the original. Oh no, I did on the original. If you want to, you can add with your tiny brush. The fire is going to cast a little like orangey or yellow glow onto the firewood. So if it's dry enough, you can do just a little hint of a highlight on the wood. And then we're going to make some rocks while our tint dries just a little bit longer. And the rocks that we put in here are going to just sort of ground this area in a nice way. They're subtle. They're done in solid black. So we've got this kind of bluish black color down here. So solid black is going to show up a little bit, but it really will show up when we add the orangey yellow highlights on it. And you can create your own little landscape And remember how I was telling you that, I'm going to tilt this a little bit. I was telling you that it originally looked like everything was sitting in water. Well, I went through and I softened up. I added more black so it didn't have so many highlights. And then I added some grasses. And then you can even reflect a little bit of the tent stake or this tent pole there onto the ground. But honestly, that makes it look more like it's sitting in water. So I would probably leave that off. Let's take our middle-sized brush. I'm going to use my number 8. And solid black paint. And somewhere over here, I'm just going to create this little rock that sort of slopes down towards the fire. Maybe goes down and off the canvas. That's a good location for it. My area down here ended up being a little bit lighter than the original painting, so this shows up nicely. There's a gnat walking on my palette. It's going to get stuck in some paint. And this, I mean, this could kind of slope and come all the way across the bottom of the canvas if you wanted it to. But I'm also going to make one that comes down here. It can even cut across part of that tent. You kind of just build your own camping spot.
Campsite.
Campsite. I was like, what's the word for it? See how long it's been? All the camping my family ever did was we went to like campsite camping, like where there's multiple people.
Well, we did too.
Did you? You did
Yeah.
some of that. But
No, we
it seems
did
like you
mostly
guys.
that.
Oh,
No,
did you?
we went
Oh,
to,
because
like,
yeah, Rock Creek has
Rock Creek
is that.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We have a trailer.
I know. Well,
Just right
it's your
for
dad's. Yeah.
No, it's ours. Sid could use it too. But it's just right. I mean, it's just the right size for 2.
The only thing is, like, it's hard with dogs.
Oh, they'd be fine.
They would probably just want to be out all the time, and they have to be on leashes because they're runners. So while this little landscape area is drying, you can add some grasses. They're fun to put on there. And you want to use your tiniest brush. Just a little bit of paint on the tip of the bristles. And like right here is maybe a good spot to do a little stand of grass. One thing that's helpful too is to actually mix a little water with your paint, especially since it's been sitting for a while you've been working. Right over here, they can go right on the rock. It just makes it nice and naturey. Can be a little tumbleweed. Something, I don't know.
I was actually thinking I might start taking the trailer.
Yeah, you've talked about it before.
Just me by myself. I'll take Hayden with me. I have to get my own dog.
Your own dog. So having some little like rocks down in here, you want to keep them flat on the bottom. That's a nice thing, but can also be kind of annoying to paint. So don't worry about putting them on there. But yeah, I think about, okay, here's a rock someone can sit on. You know, when you put up tents, you're always going to have to encounter those rocks that you have to try to figure out. Oh, the tent can't go there. Is there a campground at Crater Lake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a national park.
My favorite thing is I would stay at the hotel. I like glamping. I like hotel camping.
You know what? Honestly, it's almost cheaper.
It's funny though because as a kid, I was really into camping. We did it all the time, and you know, I didn't really care. But when I got older, I'm like, I kind of like the creature comforts of the world.
Like campsites are not that much less money.
Yeah,
than
they've
staying.
gotten. I remember back when we used to camp at Beverly Beach, it was like something like $8 a night or something. It was insane.
Probably cheaper. Yeah, probably about 8.
My campfire's dry enough that I can add that white hot center, and that really makes it come together. It adds that nice bit of brightness, which pulls your eye in, and then your eye is also balanced from this bright star right here. So it works out pretty good. Just dip the tip of your bristles in some white and start in the middle and just flick upward, letting your brush run out of paint. And you might add another coat, especially if your yellow's not dry yet. Mine's mostly dry, but that is just the right amount. I don't want to do any more than that. And I might, now that my tent's completely dry.
You know, it wouldn't be a palette knives out event if I didn't start talking about how hungry I am. I had kind of I've had just a really busy, stressful week.
I know, we're just kind of waiting for that show to get over. Shows are like, they're fun, but they're so stressful. Especially when like for us, we don't have a lot of extra time because we both work, you know, close to full time, and outside of that, we're running other businesses, so it's a lot. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, like people in the directors don't realize it.
This is your full-time job, right?
Okay, let's get some tent flaps. You don't have to. If you like the look of it like that and you want to leave it like that, you can. Or you can add some little bulky bits of orange fabric or whatever color you want. Do you have yellow?
Yeah. It might be easier if I just... You've got lots of yellow.
Let me see. I don't
You've
have
got
lots.
lots of
It's
yellow.
polluted a little bit with...
That's all right. A little bit of pollution won't hurt it.
I'm going to just make an orange color.
I mean, that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, I need a little swipe of yellow because mine is too red now. Kind of a pumpkin orange is what I'm shooting for. You can do a different color. You can do red. You could do pink. And I think about like tent flaps are usually pulled back and they're kind of bulky, so it's going to round out and come down. I think I'm going to end up painting over my tent stake. Oh well, it was a nice thought at the time. And it might be a little more bulky up over the top here. And it's going to do.
Your fire kind of looks like a jet engine. Afterburners.
You know, that's probably the type of fire I would build if I did camping. I like building campfires.
When I was, right after Jenny and I were first married, I had this job. It was actually right before I was married, we were married, and then right after. And it
These are bulky tent curtains.
It was, I was a demolition foreman on a marina right at the end of the runway of the airport at Portland. And one of the first days I was there, what? Oh, the middle finger fire. One of the first days I was there. So the Portland International Airport also has an Air National Guard base that uses the same runways. And they would take off with the F-15s, and they would do what's called a vertical takeoff. So they would just get off the ground and then go straight up to 20,000 feet with the full afterburners.
Hell yeah.
And, well, yes, that sounds great until you're in a collapsing marina with aluminum roofing over you, and you're like, everything's shaking and collapsing around you, and you're like, what is that? But it was pretty impressive to watch. In fact, that C-130 that crashed off the coast of California, what was that, 97, 98? What was the year right after we were married? I actually watched that plane take off that day.
Wow.
Got home and was like, what?
How many people on board?
It wasn't a lot because it was just a military cargo transport. 6, I think. But anyway, I've had some interesting jobs in my life.
So let's get a few random highlights on our rocky areas. Now you can leave them off because looking at this, it does kind of blend in with the ground. Now this one, the black is a little darker against the ground. So I'm going to see how it looks. You can use orange or you can use yellow. It's basically the campfire reflecting, and maybe the tent lighting, reflecting some light onto here. And I'm just going to scrape on a little bit of paint here and there. My black paint through here is a little bit wet, but I think that maybe will work in my favor here so I don't do too much. And always, you want to just try and use a little bit of paint. You can always add more. It's a little harder to take it away. And with these big, dark rock shapes, like I could add a secondary little hill or rock here just to break up the main overall. Break up the monotony. Yeah, that looks pretty good, but you can see how now with the highlights on it, it does blend in a little bit more with the ground. And before, when it had none, it was pretty like a higher contrast. That's okay though. Like I don't think anyone looking at your painting is going to miss the fact that there are some rocks here if they're, you know, around the same color as mine. And lastly, you could put a little highlighting with a tiny brush on some of these little guys. Not much. You don't want to use too much paint, but a little. Now they disappeared. Look at that. Okay. I'm going to bring it back. Screw those highlights. I don't need them.
I'm bringing highlights back.
Lastly, you can put a slightly darker outline on either, like on this side of the tent curtain flap if you want. You want to use not a super dark color, like not solid black, but something that's going to be in contrast to what you got going on there. Maybe you take your army green that you made your tent with and mix just a tiny bit more black with it.
My tent is becoming
I don't even know if this is necessary.
My tent's becoming a disaster.
Well, you know, that's kind of true to how camping is.
It's the flaps is where I kind of got all screwed
The
up.
wind came in and screwed it all over. I keep adding more like highlights in here. Just thinking about how light and bright you can see through a tent. Thinking about the Austin Powers. And now, unless you want to add anything else, like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Stalker in the background.
Could be the same, the one in the same.
Another little tiny tent way over here, someone crammed in there next to you. But unless you want to add anything else, now is a great time to sign it. I feel like I could blend this out just a little. I try not to outline too much, just because it can end up looking kind of cartoony, which, yeah, this is sort of a cartoony tent anyway. We got to do this class in like 2 hours, so. Hardcore realistic tent. But this is fun. I thought this would be a fun one for January. Then Paul's going to do one on Thursday night this week. I'm not sure. Are you doing something that matches this? Or
honest answer?
You don't know. You have no idea.
I have no idea. Maybe. We'll probably do something.
You'll probably do something. That's good.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope you'll do something.
Like this week is insane for me, and I will do it. But
well, I could always live stream another. We could just skip you this month. All right, I'm gonna sign my painting. I just kind of made a blackberry color, like just with red, white, and blue. Here we go.
America.
America. There we go. Let me move this out of the way. I think Paul's just about done with his. We can show what he has done.
I mean, I'm happy with my painting. It's just the tent kind of got a little squirrely. Okay.
I see your critter over there.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
There's 1 and 2. I need to zoom out another click.
I like my campfire.
Look at his Bigfoot with the red eyes.
They say Bigfoot has glowing red eyes.
Your sky reminds me of that one painting you did like a year ago.
I had to tone the sky down because it had a lot of yellow in it, and because of the brushwork I did, it just looked like a giant fire.
Fire in the sky. Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
you should have made like a UFO.
Oh!
That would be good. Like
Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Now we've got ideas for
You've already got
for
some.
Thursday.
You've got some drones up there.
Now we've got ideas for Thursday.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, the Bigfoot is fun.
So we have some friends that we have a personal connection
Marlene.
over Bigfoot, and so I love. And then the Bigfoot thing is something I've loved to tuck into paintings off and on over the years.
I like how you did your tent reflection. Like mine's kind of just has disappeared. I think I was so careful about making it not look like water that I ended up being a little too light-handed with the reflection, but also it dried kind of dark too. I can see. So
my tent got lost when I tried to put the flaps on.
Well, they got abducted by aliens. Okay, so go ahead. What were you talking about? A friend,
our friend, and like we both have this connection. Like, and she's what, 79?
Yeah.
And so we've bonded over our love for Bigfoot.
Over your Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah. So one of these days I'll tell my Bigfoot story. Maybe I'll have to do a Bigfoot painting, and then we'll tell the story while we.
You know what? I think people would love that.
Yeah. That would be fun.
I think people would love that, and I think that's a great idea.
Look, we're almost up. See, I got a little thermometer for our desk, and we are up at 57.9 degrees, and that's up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the other thing, too, I noticed the other day, so our last live stream, we were like, let's get to 7,000 subscribers on New Year's Eve, and now we're at like 7,028 or something.
Let me look. I can pull that up.
So it's funny that, that was, I guess, a little less than a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get more of you guys subscribed. We're at 7,030.
Nice. So we got 2,
So
because that was yesterday, I think I looked.
So it's basically like we're getting like a subscriber a day.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
And check out, you guys. Oh, wait, let's bring it back. Here we are. Check out Sea to Sky. We're both really excited about it, and I think it's just a natural progression of where we both need to be as
Let's
artists.
show our prints again real quick, because
I had brought my original.
Oh, you brought your original painting out?
Well, I mean, it was already out here.
Okay. Mine is in
There's my original, and it's kind of like one of those that like up at a distance. There's not a lot.
Look how good it printed out. It's really close. We bought a new printer, and we tried all kinds of different papers and all kinds of different settings. So these are the 2 prints that you would get for if you got both. Mm-hmm. So mine is going to be all a year of owls. Yep. All owl paintings done probably in oils. I may do some in watercolor. And then Paul's will be different coastal landscapes or just landscapes in general?
Just landscapes in general.
Sea to Sky kind of covers everything.
Yeah, and they're, I had mentioned before you came out, like one of my goals this year is to spend at least 1 weekend a month getting out. And or I shouldn't say 1 weekend, but 1 day a month getting out and doing some photography for inspiration.
Nice.
Kind of the beautiful thing about living in Portland is you can drive an hour in just about any direction and be in amazing, completely different climates, because you can go in an hour to the hour and 20 minutes to the west and be at the beach. You can go an hour to the east and be up on the top of Mount
Falls.
And top of Mount Hood.
Yeah.
You can go, and you can be in desert, and we just have so much going on, and
we're lucky.
I mean, there's a part of me that, like, I don't want to get too deep, but like, as an artist, I kind of look and I go, there's kind of a responsibility to preserve what exists from a landscape perspective.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what Bierstadt did.
Artsy fartsy. It is. It's what Bierstadt did, for sure. But yeah, I belong to a print club, and this is the size of prints that most print clubs do. And I just hang them on my fridge, and every time I get a new one, I put it on top of the old one, and I have a hardcore magnet that sticks them all to my fridge, and it's really fun to look.
And
at
so I did tell
them,
everybody
and
that like the paper is a archival paper. It's a cotton rag material, so it's not just like not cheap stuff. And it's good quality, and
I like the feel of it.
the printer we got it has 10 colors.
Yeah, and then some of you guys who've been supporters of us on here for a very long time, I'd mentioned we're gonna do like February for you for free.
Yeah, so actually that's a good point. Those of you who are subscribers or members on
like Marlene, I'll have to reach out to you and get your mailing address.
Those of you who
Sydney,
are members
Daniel.
Okay, let me speak.
Okay.
And those of you who are members on our YouTube channel and you guys pay like the $2.99 a month or whatever, you guys are going to get the first month free. So I will post a coupon code to you guys on YouTube, and if you don't get it, just message us through we have a new website for both palette knives out and
Sea to Sky.
Sea to Sky, and you can message there, you can message Facebook. And we'll get you guys a coupon code for the first month for free. And we're calling that kind of like a soft launch.
Yeah.
So we're really I'm really excited about it. Like it's like I don't want to downplay anything, but it's been really rejuvenating the last few months to just paint.
Definitely.
Especially like I don't want to talk too much.
Yes, we're gonna peace out of here.
We're gonna peace out.
We'll see you probably Thursday, right?
Yes, Thursday for sure.
Same time, same place.
Yeah, I'm trying to debate. I'm debating. Do I want to do a waterfall? Do I want to do a mountain? Do I want to do
UFO abduction with a
UFO? Actually, you know what? The fire in the mountain would be really cool to do.
Hey, we got it.
Because that's a Pacific. That's an Oregon thing.
I'm gonna hold him to it.
Isn't that what it was? It was.
What was his name? Gary Walton? I don't know if that's right. That might be completely off. But from the movie Fire in the Sky, yeah.
Fire in the Sky was based.
I think it was Oregon, or was it Northern California?
No, it was in Oregon. It was based on a true story, and it was in Oregon. So we get Bigfoot, we get alien abductions, we get all kinds of fun stuff. So anyway,
I was gonna look Fire in the Sky.
Yeah, we're almost there. We've got 4 people hanging out with us. 4 people hanging out with us till we get done.
Okay, Fire Sky event from the famous 1993 movie Fire in the Sky happened in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona. Travis Walton.
Why did I think that was in Oregon?
I don't know. I think you told me that before, but the real story, I don't know. I don't know, Paul.
Could have sworn that was Oregon.
It was a logging crew.
My goodness. I don't know.
There's a good documentary on Netflix that I watched actually several years ago. It's good.
So let's go watch Alone.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Right,
thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, and we will see you Thursday.
Bye.
Happy painting.
We're gonna first fade and